site so they never have a nuclear weapon, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, Sean, I agree with you 100%. Here's where I'm at with all of this, and here's the sense that I'm getting from my colleagues in Israel. After that missile attack, with those almost 200 missiles fired into Israel, first of all, that's a knee-jerk reaction from Hezbollah. That's fear. That's Hezbollah reciprocating because they have so much egg on their face, Sean, because we have systematically assassinated all of their top leadership, their Radwan Brigade, thousands of missile launching batteries, and that was a knee-jerk reaction. That's them sort of trying to flex, if you will, in the Middle East. That's the language, like we say in Hebrew. But here's where I'm at. Hezbollah no longer belongs to Iran, Sean, after that missile attack the other day. And you're right. Hundreds of people could have been killed if it wasn't for our multi-tiered Iron Dome, David Sling, Arrow defense system, brilliantly manned by those IDF kids. And as far as I'm concerned, they've signed over the deed after that missile strike on ownership over Hezbollah, the IRGC, that is. So where I'm at is at this point right now, it's stay out of Israel's way as we dismantle Hezbollah, or you will be permanently removed from the Middle East. And I mean that. And that's the general tone that I'm getting from my friends at Glilot, the intelligence space in Israel. And Israel will continue to degrade Hezbollah's military capabilities, Sean, to the point where they're no longer even a smell as a viable proxy, a scent for Iran. Target and eliminate every one of those missile launching capabilities in southern Lebanon, where our commandos are now in the fifth wave of this operation. It started with the pagers, 3,000 injured, I would say several hundred killed. The Iranian media reporting far less. Eliminate those after that pager operation, the takedown of those Hezbollah leaders, then the Radwan Brigade, and then Hassan Nasrallah. And don't forget, we sent a little package to Ismail Haniyeh, and so Iran is scared. And then that third piece is, I believe that Bibi knows that Biden is going to put the brakes on. He's already starting. And they did that in Rafah. And those brakes that they put on Israel could have rescued those 6 hostages. Nobody does hostage rescue better than us, Sean. Our Yamam, our Seyret Matkal, we practically invented it starting in 76 back in Entebbe. So at this point right now...
by the way, Prime Minister Netanyahu lost his brother and was part of that raid himself.
That's right. I know you guys are friends. I know you and Bibi go back 35 years, and Bibi's an incredible wartime leader right now. And even though there's some divide in Israel, that's part of a democratically elected country. But I think Bibi's going to degrade the military capability of Hezbollah completely, eliminate those missile threats, going to start going after the Hezbollah, the IRGC leadership as well. And Iran knows we can get to every one of them, Sean. And Farsi, if any of my friends at the IRGC are listening, the Dastrosi Dorim means they're all within our reach, Sean. You've seen the work that we can do. So by
the way, we saw that after the April attack, and I went over this with you on TV the other night. That the ability of Israel to penetrate so deeply into Iranian airspace and with such ease, and to bypass, their air defenses was staggering to me. And then they did send a little message because one of their targets happened to be right next to one of their nuclear sites.
And I think we're going to see some more of that, Sean. And I think the reason why is because I think Bibi knows he's on the clock. He knows Iran is scared. That nuclear capability of Iran it could be a couple of weeks away. Our intelligence is the best in the world. We've got the best targeting officers in the world. Every one of those Mossad agents, I mean, they can flip officers and military. Maybe this goes all the way back to the 50s, Sean. Eli Cohen, one of our great spies, worked his way up to the top of the Syrian leadership and was mingling with all the military and the president of Syria. And listen, we got Jews who speak every language, Sean. And if we can't get one of our Israelis in there, we'll set up shell corporations, just like we did with that pager operation, and we'll sell our enemies those pagers, which I believe was not just laced with Semtex, Sean. There was probably tracking devices in there. There was probably listening devices. Helped Israel for over 5-6 months map out all of Lebanon to figure out exactly where they needed to go with this air campaign now. And so I think Bibi knows he's on the clock, speaks the language of the Middle East, comes from
What do you mean by saying he's on the clock?
I believe that Biden and Harris are going to continue to elevate the pressure on Israel to respond with constraint, and that's very.
Why would Israel care one iota about what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris think? Kamala Harris, who doesn't even want to acknowledge that radical Islamic terrorism exists.
We don't, Sean. We don't. But at the end of the day, Bibi still has to play nice, publicly still has to show that we're grateful. It's just politicking. You know, just the other day, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin talked about how they were warning Iran that if they fired, this is before the missile attack, if they fired directly into Israel, then the U.S. would respond and defend Israel. And I tweeted him back, and I said, Sean, with all due respect, sir, missiles coming in from Hezbollah is a direct missile attack from Iran. So there's politicking.
Well, they listened to Joe the last time. They listened to Kamala the last time before April. What was their one-word answer? Don't. Well, they did.
That's right. And the problem, Sean, in the Middle East is that the mullahs, the leaders of the IRGC, listen, you can put as many aircraft carriers in the theater that you want, but aircraft carriers don't scare terrorists. And the U.S. needs to start getting on board with Israel's tone of how they're conducting special operations with our ballsiness. I don't know how else to say it. Forgive me for for your sponsors, but there needs to be a certain chutzpah that the U.S. needs to start.
It doesn't offend my sponsors, and it doesn't offend me. I promise you, and because that's exactly what it takes. Yep. You know, here's what people don't understand. I mean, they are dedicated to wiping Israel off the map. This is a forefront war. This is all hands on deck, and there's really only one option, Aaron, and we have a minute left, and that's for Israel to win and for them to lose.
That's right. And just like Bibi said when he addressed, when he was over here, he gave his last speech, every time they say death to America, Sean, they're saying death to Israel, they're saying death to America. The extremists and the radicalists and the Islamists, and I know them well, Sean, I speak their language, I know their mannerisms, I know their culture. All of the deceit and deception, all of the bots that Iran's been sponsoring, brainwashing these kids via TikTok and social media, which you and I discussed the other night, all of this is coming to the West, and that open porous border is a nightmare waiting to explode. And Israel needs to get business handled, and the U.S. needs to get serious about their posture on the global war on terrorism. And I don't see it happening with Biden. Certainly not going to happen with Harris. But Israel's going to do what it's got to do, Sean, with or without the U.S.'s help. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, our prayers are with the people of Israel and their full, complete victory. Aaron Cohen, our prayers are with you, the people of Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and we wish you Godspeed in beating back the forces of evil in our time, because that's evil. 800, you're very welcome.